While I was wandering around Festival of Quilts recently, Angela was, of course, a very busy lady, but I have persuaded her to join me here in the studio because she was telling everybody there about the new book and the new patterns. So thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Tell us more about these lovely new ideas you have.
Well, Surprising Silhouettes developed because I liked the idea of being able to cut paper and get designs. There are an awful lot of people who are terrified of designing, and if I put design in a class title, people don't come because they were put out of the art class age 7 or something like that, and they've never designed anything since. The great thing about this is you can cut up bits of paper, and when you get really nice designs, you can fly with them. They're very easy to get. And of course you can keep cutting bits of paper. You've lost nothing, it's not expensive like fabric, and it gives people tremendous confidence.
Well, that's true.
So these kind of designs are really good fun because if you look, for example, at this one, and this one is a pattern which is in the book and it's given as a challenge, because if you give the same pattern to different people, they will do different things with it, and that's what I really like.
And me too. Isn't that such fun when you're a tutor?
It's great. It's great. So here somebody has used the pattern and they've made a nice long table runner with it. And here is the pattern, again 4 of them, just 4 blocks. This is the block here, 4 of them, and these are the pieces that were cut out. But the extra pieces that were cut out of this made this quilt.
Wow.
So the other good thing about it is that the pieces that are left over give you a kind of 2 for the price of 1 quilt, but the second one doesn't have to look as though it came out of the first one, and though it's a leftover pieces quilt. So they're great fun to use.
And they're actually fused on, aren't they?
They're fused on. These pieces are fused on, so the rest isn't. So you don't end up with a hard quilt. You end up with a nice, soft, pliable, nice loft on the wadding, and it's not hard and nasty and like cardboard. But the good thing is then all the pieces are very stable so that you can just stitch around them with a zigzag. So you can zigzag, you can use decorative thread, you could blanket stitch, you could satin stitch, so you can add your own touches to it.
Absolutely. And you said it was a challenge in the book.
In the book, I've suggested that if people would like to join us for the challenge, the pattern is given, and I've given it here on the end of the book. There's the pattern, and I've said if you want to use this, enlarge it, do whatever you'd like to it, and just send me a picture to my website, which is angelamadden.com. They're starting to come in now.
Brilliant.
And there's no time limit on it, so it doesn't have to be in by Christmas or anything like that. And I will just add them, and it will give people an idea of what you can do with one pattern. But the techniques in the book are infinite. You go forever. Different numbers of blocks, different sizes, different fabrics, and it's really easy.
Fantastic. We like really easy, Angela. And these were also very popular at the show, you were telling me.
These are my new patterns. Again, I like the idea of giving somebody a pattern and that they can do different things with it. So this is the start of a pattern series called Your Choice Patterns. Each pattern contains 2 patterns because I like to be good value. I like getting good value, and I'm sure you do.
We all do.
So there's 2 patterns in every one here. We've got the owl and the dove. We've got 2 different cats, 2 different butterflies, the hedgehog and the rabbit, and 2 different flowers. And I've got some quilts here that will give you an idea. This is obviously the owl and the dove. Each of the patterns, they're all mix and match because they're all based on an 8-inch square, and the 8-inch squares will obviously go together. So if you bought 2 patterns, you could mix and match them. You don't have to stick with the ones that are in a particular envelope. But here we have the owl and the dove, and if you look at this owl, you'll see I have one owl centrally placed in the block, and he's all one colour. And here I've got 2 owls, and they're sitting on the sides of the block, and they're half and half. So that's another choice you've got in the patterns. You can play with them in that way. And the other thing is, all the different patterns have different things happening around the outsides of them. So if you want to join them together, they make really nice links, and you can see this link is different to this link. And you can play with the pieces on the outside, putting them in different ways. Here, this is this width, but of course if you use 2 owls and half colour, it's wider.
It comes up bigger.
So you play with all sorts of things like that. And again, it's very easy. The patterns are easy to follow, and the stitching is just a very simple zigzag, exactly the same as the silhouettes that I mentioned earlier.
And again, fusible.
Again, fusible. And the good thing about this and the others is that You can fuse your design onto your top fabric and then put your wadding and then put the backing fabric and then zigzag through the whole lot. So you're actually appliquing and quilting at the same time. So it's quick, and that's the other thing that's really good.
Well, we like that.
We all like that.
Thank you very much for joining us today,
You're very
Angela.
welcome, and I hope everyone has fun.
I'm sure they will.